Caleb Turner had built his life on saying no. No to shortcuts. No to favors that came with tone instead of terms. No to anything that sounded easy when it should not. That discipline was the reason he had survived as long as he had. He worked nights at a logistics warehouse outside Phoenix, Arizona. The job paid enough to keep the lights on and his mother's medications filled. It did not offer dignity, but it offered predictability, which mattered more. On the night everything changed, the warehouse lost power. The conveyor belts stopped mid-motion. Forklifts froze where they stood. Emergency lights flickered on, bathing the rows of stacked pallets in a dull red glow. The supervisor cursed quietly and told everyone to wait. That was when the man approached him. Caleb noticed him because he did not belong. He wore no uniform, no badge. He stood too still, hands folded behind his back, watching the chaos as if it were scheduled. "You're Caleb Turner," the man said. Caleb stiffened. "Who's asking?" The man smiled, small and polite. "Someone who needs a favor." Caleb shook his head immediately. "Wrong guy." "I do not think so," the man replied. "You are known for being careful." That alone was enough to put Caleb on edge. "I do not do favors," Caleb said. "Especially not at work." The man nodded, as if agreeing. "That is why this one matters." He gestured toward a side corridor that led away from the main floor. "Walk with me." 30 seconds. Caleb should have refused. He knew that. The rules he lived by were not complicated. But something about the man's certainty irritated him, as if the outcome had already been decided. 30 seconds, Caleb told himself. Nothing more. They stepped into the corridor, where the red light faded into shadow. "I need access to a single container," the man said calmly. "No alarms. No records." Caleb laughed once. "You have lost your mind." The man reached into his coat and withdrew a folded document. He did not hand it over. He simply opened it enough for Caleb to see. Medical records. His mother's name sat at the top of the page. Caleb's stomach tightened. "Where did you get that?" "You are behind on payments," the man said. 2 months. One more missed cycle, and they will discontinue the supplemental treatment. Caleb's fists clenched. "You do not know what you are talking about." The man met his gaze evenly. "The container will take you less than a minute to access. The power outage ensures no digital trace. You will not see what is inside. You will not touch anything." "And after?" Caleb asked, voice low. The man closed the document. "After, your problem becomes manageable again." The silence stretched. Caleb had always believed that choices were clear if you stripped them down far enough. Right and wrong usually revealed themselves when excuses were removed. This one did not. "Why me?" he asked. "You already have the keys," the man replied. "And you still believe saying yes once does not change who you are." That sentence stayed with him. Caleb followed him. The container sat near the back of the warehouse, unremarkable among hundreds of others. Caleb opened it, eyes fixed on the floor, heart pounding. The man stepped forward and removed something small. Light. Wrapped carefully. He said nothing. Neither did Caleb. The power returned minutes later. The man was gone. The next morning, Caleb's phone rang. The hospital confirmed the payment. The relief felt physical, crushing, immediate. That night, Caleb slept without waking. The night after that, the man returned. "I told you it would be simple," he said. Caleb did not respond. "There will be another favor," the man continued. Slightly more involved. Caleb felt something shift inside him. Not greed, not fear, recognition. He understood then that the first favor had never been about need. It had been about permission, and he had given it. Caleb told himself the second favor would be the last. That was the lie that made it possible to agree. The man did not return to the warehouse immediately. Days passed, then a week. Long enough for Caleb to convince himself that silence meant closure. That whatever line he had crossed existed only once, under unusual circumstances, and could not be repeated. Life settled into a careful rhythm again. His mother's condition stabilized. The bills stopped stacking in angry red envelopes. The pressure that had lived between his shoulders loosened, just enough for him to breathe. That was when the phone rang. Unknown number. He stared at it longer than necessary before answering. "Yes," he said. "You sound surprised," the man replied. Caleb closed his eyes. "You said it would be simple." "And it was," the man said calmly. "I did not say it would be final." Caleb lowered his voice. "I am done." There was a pause on the line. Not silence, exactly. More like patience. "Meet me," the man said. "Tonight. Same place." The call ended. Caleb did not sleep that day. He replayed every detail of the first favor, searching for a flaw he could use as an excuse to refuse the second. But excuses lose their strength once they have been spent. That night, the man stood where he always did. Hands folded, expression unreadable. "This one will require you to look," he said. Caleb's jaw tightened. "Then no." The man nodded, as if expecting that answer. "I understand. Then we will discuss alternatives." "Like what?" The man reached into his coat again. This time, he removed no documents. He removed a photograph. A woman, mid-30s, standing beside a bus stop, laughing at something just out of frame. Caleb recognized her immediately. "That is my sister," he said. "She was," the man replied gently. "She still exists. Barely. One bad decision away from not existing at all." Caleb felt heat rush to his face. "You said this was about me." "It is," the man said. "Your family is part of that." Caleb took a step forward. "If you hurt her, I have not," the man interrupted. "I do not create danger. I observe it. I simply decide who is shielded from it." Caleb laughed, sharp and humorless. "You expect me to believe you are protecting us?" "No," the man said. "I expect you to believe that protection is expensive." The container this time was different. Caleb noticed immediately. It sat alone, separated from the others, marked with codes he did not recognize. When he opened it, he forced himself to look. Inside were sealed packages, smaller than before, labeled with names, dates, locations. These were not objects. They were people, not physically, but contractually. Assets tied to systems Caleb did not understand, but whose implications were unmistakable. "You are cataloging lives," Caleb said, his voice barely steady. The man watched him carefully. "I am managing risk. You are trading control." The man smiled faintly. "Control is always traded. The only question is whether the price is visible." Caleb stepped back. "I cannot do this." "You already are," the man replied. Caleb left without closing the container. That night, his sister called him. She sounded shaken. She had nearly been arrested for a mistake she did not understand how she made. A signature she did not remember signing. A choice that did not feel like hers. But nothing came of it. It dissolved. "Someone must have fixed it," she said, relieved. Caleb said nothing. Days blurred into weeks. The favors continued. Sometimes small, sometimes unsettling, always framed as temporary. Each time, the man reminded him of what had been avoided. Illnesses delayed. Accidents that never happened. Careers that collapsed quietly instead of publicly. Protection, the man insisted, was not about preventing harm. It was about redirecting it. Caleb began to notice the cost. He stopped being invited places. Conversations with co-workers shortened. His reflection looked older, not in years, but in attention, as if the world had begun to look through him instead of at him. One evening, he found his name listed on a report he had never signed. Another night, he watched a man lose his job for a mistake Caleb knew he himself had caused indirectly. The man always watched him afterward, waiting. "You see it now," he said. Caleb did not answer. "You understand why people stay," the man continued. "Once you know how the world really balances itself, ignorance becomes a luxury you cannot afford." "I never wanted this," Caleb said. "That is what makes you reliable," the man replied. The breaking point came quietly. Caleb's mother passed away in her sleep. Peacefully. No pain. No struggle. The doctors called it merciful. Caleb did not feel relief. He felt calculation. At the funeral, the man stood at the back, unseen by everyone else. "She lived longer than expected," the man said afterward. "That was not free." Caleb stared at the casket. "You did this." "I extended what was already ending," the man replied. "You asked for time. I delivered it." Caleb's hands shook. "And now?" "Now," the man said. "You decide whether you are finished paying." Caleb turned to face him fully. "If I stop, then the shield disappears," the man said. "For you. For everyone connected to you. And if I continue, then you become permanent." The word landed hard. Caleb thought of the container. The names. The quiet way lives were nudged off balance to preserve others. "How many people are you protecting?" he asked. The man's expression softened, just slightly. "Everyone who ever said yes." Caleb understood then. This was not a system of evil. It was a system of compromise, built one reasonable decision at a time. That night, Caleb returned to the warehouse alone. He stood before the container without opening it. He imagined the line he had crossed weeks ago and how invisible it had felt. He called the man. "I am done," Caleb said. There was no anger in the response, only something like regret. "Then this is where we stop protecting you," the man replied. Caleb hung up. The weeks that followed were harsh. His sister lost her job. A friend was injured in an accident that could not be explained away. Caleb himself was questioned about irregularities he could not deny. Life did not collapse. It corrected. Slowly, painfully. But something else happened, too. The weight lifted. Caleb slept again. Not easily, but honestly. He began to recognize his reflection. People looked at him directly again. Months later, he passed the warehouse one final time. The container was gone. So was the man. Caleb never learned where the system ended or who replaced him. But he learned the lesson that mattered. Some favors do not trap you because they are large. They trap you because they feel justified. And the most dangerous promises are not whispered by villains. They are offered calmly by people who sound reasonable and only ask for a little at first.